My computer's monitor is broken, so we doing this one off the phone. If you have a Twitter page, chances are you've seen this meme. I am not making this video to discredit its validity. It's absolutely true. And while it is, there are other places one can go to obtain positions in employment once the applications fail. Though this is feasible for some, nay many, these places require that you discontinue any mechanism you may use to deal with the stress of everyday life. And for the unprepared mind, it could be too much to ask. Collegiate study is barely enough for an entry-level position otherwise, and for most people, having to quit a habit to join some program is mentally impossible. To put a roof over your head, an option as one of these should only ever be a draw of your final card, especially being of racial minority in a first world country. Really think about it. Some hag spread her legs, you pull up, and now these despise you for being a different color. Why would you desire to provide service to a Natian that hands you hatred based upon who the you are? And yet, with these two concepts being the only alternatives for a civilian starting from square zero, a decision has to be made between the two. It can be observed leading them into terrible situations or unjust spies of emotion. These incidents are all result of the same function, the same factor, the need to acquire finance, legal tender, to survive. The only other forms of income are passive and or illegal. So if your amalgam of social media isn't the centerpiece of social popularity, then you aren't going to get paid for its existence. The process essentially becomes one gaslighting themselves into the understanding that they're only ever doing so to get some money, like an artist or a celebrity, forgetting that the celebrity is being paid for breathing oxygen and being conventionally attractive, and that today's modern artist is receiving 2 million views for teaching the commoner how to steal. These are concepts that I smile down from, not frown upon. If you're pretty, shake the kitty, make a milli, get out the game. If your squad can help you run them pieces, you keep your readers on the hush. I mean, it's not our fault we're here yet. Yet what of the exception that is nowhere near rare? Very similar to the movie entitled The Platform, there are those with complete absence to all aforementioned. No networking, no access to higher education, no transportation. Hell, to have access to these things in bare minimum, but possess an absence of legacy is enough to leave a person whose focus was making it out of K through 12 with nothing when they actually do. The acquisition of knowledge necessary for survival should start there, but who is to say that they'll be told the complete list of that information in their future? They could spend another 10 years at a bare minimum looking for it themselves. In high school, I'm fairly certain that to this day, there's no class for learning how to build credit, file tax returns, or gain experience necessary to obtain a job. Matter of fact, it's just a smart business move. Why teach someone the benefit of money, or for that matter, how to make it for free? It's like running a pescatarian market that teaches every customer how to fish. There's no church in the wild, and no nepotism in the hood. The top-ranking financial African American can't outright share a method to obtain that kind of finance without it being taken away from us, and probably without them being punished. All Money Man ever wanted to do was show his people how to make money, and they shadow banned his presence from the internet. That type of information was never meant for the citizen. The democracy is the modern day monarchy, and the citizen is the modern day peasant. It goes beyond motivational Sigma speeches and goes into a roll of the dice. One could be born into wealth, never having to experience first-hand struggle, creativity, and chaos. they could find themselves incapable of discernment between cheap and savvy. Let them eat cake, face ass. It seems necessary to be born a life of enemies and no friends. It teaches the need to survive with one ill parent or with no guardian. The routes such as these are some of the only that breed honest ethic, positive moral code. What is worse is that out of the nice and simple people it can create, it also forges the polar opposite. Scarcity begets desperation. Criminals, crooks, thieves, harvesters. Darkness is the ally, face ass. To make it out of situations like that, it's going to make you feel like dying if you don't actually. If you can live long enough, it presents itself to your vision for what it really is. It's the parts to a social experiment to see which rose grows from concrete. The scariest part is that some do, and they get buried. With the world's richest entities capable of taking the smallest and largest sources of planetary survival with money, they can control who profits and who doesn't. Profit decides who lives and dies. Many of the homeless find profit in returning scat to the government that pooped on them. To which I say, good on you, mate. However, there are those whose pride is simply too hard to swallow, that partake in journey that could very easily be marked by the standard civilian as throwing one's life away, even at its highest sanctions. I damn near broke my arm, leg, and back to pay the bills in underground when I was younger before I decided, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea. It took me years to come to the realization that being a monster off hard substances to make ends meet was for the birds, and that doing so by straight-edged means is just as difficult. I haven't said all of which I've currently recorded to provide some sort of silver lining. The title to this video isn't the light side of the meme. Come on now. Society is satirical existence, a killing joke, a mockery of what life is at its most positive and natural. This is acknowledgement that living is the most difficult thing that anyone can ever do, anywhere. This is to the hope that you make it out of this alive. With the assumption that the both of us do, I'll see you in another video.